and that is what they'll opt for.
Does mean that this lane is not going to be a whole lot of fun in the early stages. Of course, Kai'Sa Rakan, not the most powerful in itself, so might just be a bit of a wet noodle fight down there. Should get does go down. Peanut should be able to grab the second one pretty comfortably as Delight's going to move over. There's the flash out as Peanut makes his way in. The Weaver's Wall does deliver Zeka to the area. Flash out from Peter as well as the seismic shove has to be avoided with a headbutt. And so Peter knows that he is just going to go down. That's first blood going over to Viper of all people. HLE off to a great start. They should even be able to grab this last grub.
Yeah, just sticking around a bit too long there. Peter sacrifices himself. I think the right decision there to make sure that everyone else gets out, but will still be this grub going over to Hanwha Life Esports, and a bit of a rocky one there. For a lot of vision topside, they had a ton of wards up there. Hanwha Life did. They were like, all right, this is our moment, this is our angle, we're going to trap them here. They probably didn't necessarily expect they were going to full commit, but because they did, they get those kills, they get the dragon as well, plus the grubs.
Well, there's a double pulverize here from Peter, because if at first you don't succeed, you just go for it again. Kaz drives in, misses Delight on that one, and they look for Peanut. They are going to be able to pick him up there with the Impale. PDD comes in, the Sand Soldiers get the work done.
He does have Smite, has a little bit of backup.
They want to try and deny these if they can, or at least try and find a team fight. Peanut going to be able to grab the first one. That is Void Might's activated here for HLE.
Yeah, now that Peanut's used this Smite, Cuz should be able to get at least one.
Yeah, and HLE can just run away if they'd like to. There's no need to fight for this unless they'd really fancy themselves in that fight. Perfect taking a lot of damage. Zeka is just, toying with him here on the bottom side of the map. Cuz should be able to grab this, and he doesn't. It's Peanut, picks that one up for himself. Hints a maneuver. Viper shows himself though, and he does a lot of damage. As Doctor trying to offer what he can. Peanut throws down the ulti very early on here. They once again find themselves milling about.
Basically ultimately did, and now BDD is in big danger.
He is. Seismic Shove is going to be avoided. The Emperor's Divide comes out but doesn't hit anyone, and Viper is extremely fed. Rift Herald coming into the mid lane here as well as Peter looks for the trample. Zeus in a little bit of trouble here, and he will be going down. Doctom getting his first kill of the game.
A little bit overzealous there from HLE, I would say. Perfect's also going to get this bottom turret, but they still got to charge, and they will get that mid turret soon. They're putting a ton of damage onto this top inner as well, so lots of value here for Hanwha Life Esports. I don't think Zeus should have necessarily died there, but I don't think they feel too bad when they're going to grab this inner.
Well, at least Cuz is pretty tanky. He does throw Delight into the wall. Viper getting hit around.
Well-rounded, insanely talented mid laner. One of our best.
Yep, it's absolutely the case, as the Mega Blast Cone going to get a flash is kind of frustrating.
Yes.
Because they sound really similar. Speaking of Peanut, he's going to get pulverized by Peter. He looked for a little bit of an engage here. As you can see, Perfect does still have the equalizer. They are in a choke point. Press the equalizer. There it is. Emperor's Divide onto 2 and KT. They found a proactive play, but PDD is in the ground, and the Impale goes entirely wide. Viper now in the driver's seat as Doctom gets behind the rest of his team, and HLE, they do manage to find an extra kill in the exchange.
I feel like there were so many moments to equalize there, which would have given them a better opportunity, but they wanted to wait for a big combo with BDD, but they waited so long that by the time that combo went down, and even though the play was heroic, so much work had been done from Hanwha Life, and Viper can follow up so easily. Sitting on 2 items, that's going to be the third. And
HLE getting incremental, small advantages. They're trading up in a lot of these instances, right? As Cuz going to make his way in, looking for Zeka here as the Weaver's Wall, just going to get him out. And he'll be fine. Even able to grab himself a bloody pedal on his way through. As Peter going for some more plays. Peter and Peanut fighting once again, frustratingly enough, as the Flame Spitter will burn him down. Doctom with a cheeky Mystic Shot to steal the kill away from the rest of his teammates. Seismic Shove going to throw the Scorpion around, but Cuz is getting tankier and tankier.
Pretty inopportune moment to die for a Scuttle Crab.
Oh, this would be a way for KT to lose the game. And that is going for an Otacon that they have no right to go for. But the rest of HLE are just looking to destroy structures.
Yeah, I think
so. It will be the Otacon going down.
Yeah, the Otacon does go over, and a lot of pedals are going to go over. It looks like this mid turret here, good zoning by KT. It's going to be a teleport from Zeus to try to save it.
Well, Weaver's Wall going to come in here from Zeka. That's going to split up the fight momentarily, but teleport is going to be towards this bottom lane.
So far away.
Rest of KT now in position to go for something. Weaver's Wall just to break this one up, Cuz not electing to go over it, but he can just move in if he wants to. It's going to be the steal from Kaz, and Peanut down pretty low now as well. Has to use another ultimate right at the last second, and is looking to possibly get out of the way as Kaz flashes in, misses another ulti, and Perfect says, my flamethrower requires no aiming. And in fact, KT, they require no aiming.
KT just need one fight, one moment. They can get right back into this game, and they got it. So many tools used for Hanwha Life to deny extremely scaling champions.
Not to mention the fact that they have so many turrets to take down. KT, that was a game-winning play. Of course, it's KT.
In mid, 3 on the bottom lane. BDD rips through turrets with this build so easily and can use the Sun Disc as a bit of a bastion. He can fall back to with Kuz, who's so tanky and has Impale. Just no way to collapse onto BDD. They push hard in the bottom lane. Duckdom's poke is really starting to hit. I mean, he's on 3 items now.
Yeah, Weaver's Wall. They are looking for Perfect here as the seismic shove goes wide. Peter has found Peanut once again, though, as Kuz making his way and finds a rock onto Viper. Zeka is incredibly low as Duckdom's looking for him into the backline. Goes to Light. He's almost just dead. It's a beautiful arcane shift, though. Duckdom will get audaciously charged, does go down, but the Emperor is here and has done some division. It's just not quite enough, but they've taken down the Kai'Sa. BDD trying to kite, but he gets stunned up and will be taken down. Zeka manages to
lose. And with this ace, I mean, they could just go straight into the base.
Is it? No, it's not game, right?
It's not quite game. Perfect will have his ultimate, so he can clear a wave. They only have this top wave to play through, but they can just get this inhibitor.
Just in history, but also in this game. As Peter with a Mega Blast going, looking for an angle. They do get on top of Peanut. As the Impale comes on through, it is going to be the soul lockdown for Peanut, finally finding himself a smite. As now Viper gets flashed on, immediately goes into that Zhonya's, but now he's out of position. The Pulverize is good. It is the mid laner going down for KT, but the rest of the team is fighting well. Flash comes out from Kuz, and Zeka is now the carry that HLE are going to be relying on. That and Zeus, who is raining these shock blasts down. Meanwhile, KT's base is also exploding. Another Zhonya is going to be utilized, this time by Perfect, who wants to try and kill Zeka, but it's not going to work. And HLE find themselves another fight and a soul off the back of it, as Duckdom and Kuz licking their wounds, trying to keep their base alive.
Yeah, the top wave will naturally push, and they'll just demolish this turret instantly here. BDD up in 20. I don't think Hanwha Life are looking for the end here, but they have so much control from this. They have the soul back up.
Well, a Baron is now on the cards as Duckdom taking some more skill shots, as we can see. Peanut, though, goes in, gets on top of the Ezreal. Arcane Shift gets him out of there. The Weaver's Wall not quite doing enough here for HLE right now. Seismic Shove is good onto BDD, though, as Zeka has to flash to get out of the way of this equalizer. BDD's burning, and he does go down. Now Viper getting into the backline. I don't know about this one, but he's still able to get these autos off. Supercharger to make sure he's in the right position. Kuz is going to get eviscerated, and KT, that was their last breath, as HLE will now push in for the win.
Oh, BDD is not happy. They had such a good angle in this game. It all went wrong in the bottom lane, and Hanwha Life took it back. Viper with an incredible Kai'Sa game.
Oh, yeah. Got fed early, and it looked like KT had found an angle, and obviously they didn't, because the Nexus goes down. HLE now on the board with their first win of LCK 2025.
Team fighting a little bit
The
wonky.
Ambessa R5, Wolf.
This can be quite tricky to pilot into the Gwen with the kind of rework of the Gwen where she's a lot stronger early. I do feel like it's going to take a lot of finesse, but if piloted correctly, do have Peter.
Oh dear. Okay, Handshake going to go straight through as Peter does manage to snare them. And also the Blooming Burst doing some work there as Kuz is moving up. Bailout now down, but it's on to Viper, and that's going to mean that Delight has to flash, pounce forward. First blood for Kuz.
That was really well played. Excellently baited as well.
Some needlework here towards the bottom side as the ulti to come out from Zeus. Let's see whether he can actually win this one as the extra healing helping Perfect out. So a trade of ultimates, and now, okay, Zeus still wanting more. He's landing all these buttons. One more, and the flash forward's gonna do it, and Perfect, you saw that.
Yeah,
Didn't like how that one worked out.
Hands right off the keyboard into almost a little angry clap there. Not happy with how that went for sure. And up here on the top side, Hanwha Life getting back control as well.
He just needed to flash earlier, right? And I think that's why he was frustrated. as he pressed the flash button anyway. Good handshake is going to come in onto Kaz, but BDD is turned up, and Delight is once again in trouble. Another kill comes forward, as that's the decoy that they're going over to BDD. That is that advantage. Only extending. As okay, Arrow going to connect here onto Peanut. A Cyclone comes in and Kaz has to flash away the Pop Blossom. A little bit disjointed and Peter is going to be taken down. There's kill number 1 for Viper. Hostile takeover going to come on through and Kaz able to pounce over the wall. Docdom getting to relative safety. Gonna be okay.
He does not have ult, but he is Ash.
Moved quite slowly and no flat. He's so dead. Like, I feel like there was a ward there the whole time. Like,
yeah.
Oh no, it was a control ward. It was a control ward in the brush for HLE, so maybe you didn't see it there.
Yeah, I don't think he saw. I don't think he quite saw, but still a bit of a dangerous situation. But wants to push the advantage. Gets a plate, but dies for it. So now 2 kills to the Ambessa.
Man, that could have been really confusing because he's like, oh, but the Ashe is on my team, so I'll be fine. No, not fine. And thankfully, he's not as silly as I am. Needlework landing onto Zeka here on the top side of the map as there's a teleport in as well. Peter's moving over as there's another Arrow and another mid laner using their flash. But can he avoid the rest of it? And the answer is yes. Still going to be this turret falling lower and lower. And remember, this is 5 grubs for KT. Docdom, once again in an awkward spot. Good sidesteps. He's still dead. As once again, Docdom out of position will get rendered down. This turret does fall, though.
First turret. So that's a big win. Peanut just carries that as BDD. Whoa.
Oh dear. Well, Peter is moving on up, finds a Pop Blossom.
There's an angle.
Yeah, Spear is going to connect. Gorgeously done. And it's the Buster. Put him in good position.
Yeah, you got a TP. Just let this one go.
There is a lot of just on-demand vision for KT with Hawkshot, with the Shapes in this game, which makes my job very difficult.
I think this was the right call from KT. You know, you've got a Gwen in the side.
Yeah.
Take out that whole turret. You got the teleport from Zeus with Viper's Fate's Call there. Did have his flash as well, but you'd rather keep that one. But you could see the angle mid. I think they are going to look for the contest, but it's so slow.
Yeah, Hawkshot is going to fly over. I think Kaz getting the bad news here, knows that he's not going to be able to get in, so that's some upgraded shoes here for HLE. And BDD does manage to grab this turret, does the continue walking forward strategy to avoid the Arrow.
Potentially in this next Dragon fight, but they bought themselves some additional time.
Ooh, Arrow going to be flying into Delight here, looking to try and get another Fate's Call, but that's on cooldown, so Delight is just dead. Peter's the one that actually picks up the kill.
Otacon take if KT are slow to respond. Remember, Perfect not showing on the map once he clears this wave, and it's going to take him a while to get up, though.
Yeah.
I don't like have so much tempo here.
Hawkshot flying over. Peanut spotted, starting this Otacon. And remember, it is dangerous, especially when KT can just take pot shots at them. Let's see whether Peter can line up a good engage angle. The Shape Splitter coming on in now. Spears still just trying to find the mark, and KT setting themselves up. Zeka now with that explosive charge on him, but there's the public execution. Pop Blossom going to be used, and BDD trying to get himself over the wall. Buster shot to get rid of Zeus, and it's now a cacophony, but KT are winning it. There's the bailout, but it is not enough, and KT just put HLE in the ground.
This was a very everyone piles in on Peanut's call, and the Pop Blossom just wins the fight for KT.
You know, as a player.
Absolutely.
So honestly, any game that KT wins, it's always a Peter angle. It's just how it goes. Find a target. It is going to be pretty difficult for KT not to just instantly die. As Arrow picked up by Zeka. And the Infernal Drake getting aggressive. HLE getting chunked out by just the Dragon alone. But look at Zeus finding this flank angle. Gets a Cinder for the speed up as well. Remember, the public execution going to be such a big deal. And BDD already just jumping on in. That is going to be Peanut locking down the Drake. KT, though, they're looking for this Ambessa, who's just thrown around like a ragdoll. There's a Pop Blossom landing on a 2. Viper nailed by the Arrow, and 3 are on the ground in an instant.
And the good news for Hanwah is you got the Dragon. The bad news is you got wiped again. And I think it was a great call by BDD to chase the Zeus on the flanking Zeus, chase the Ambessa there, deny his entry, keeps Duckdom super safe there in that situation. And that's a team fight win here with longer deaths, your respawn timers here, and a Gwen Tristana. They could just try to push to end. They've got enough minions here.
Oh,
it's gonna be a tough defense.
Okay, yeah, let's not get overly enthusiastic, because there's a huge Pop Blossom from Zeka. It's just not enough to actually take anyone down. The first Nexus turret falls. Peanut using his decoy effectively. Well, it's going to be helpful as they set up this poke. But KT, in the meantime, being able to just take down this dragon. Everyone able
They
to
have vision cleared out. They're playing super far forward here. Look at how blind Hanwha are, trying to find an angle.
Oh, well, Arrow is going to connect onto Kaz. They're going to blow him up or attempt to, but he goes golden. I just don't know whether he's going to be able to get out. The hostile takeover, it almost actually gets him out of there, but now the fight has been engaged. The Pop Blossom is decent, and now it's B2D looking for the resets. He locks down Zeka. He's already found Peanut, and Doctom goes down, but B2D is the one that means everything for KT. Perfect now has the matter in his own hands, but everyone's dashing away, and HLE! Oh no, KT now left in the dust. That's the
It goes down, but watch Viper. Viper will carry when you give him these opportunities. Bailout gives him just enough to kill the other carry.
When you're that good, I guess.
It's not over, but now HLE have a Baron to work with. There's a ton of standing gold on the map for them to pick up. And this situation should have never happened.
Yep. Beautifully done. And now KT, they're back on the map. Of course, there's not a whole lot that was picked up outside of the Baron, as hostile takeover is not going to be enough to make sure that Delight survives. So that is going to put a dampener in this Baron. It is already under just the default gold that you get from killing it. And so KT still in the driver's seat. They still have a gold lead. And the Arrow is going to sail through and lock down Doctom. Another defensive Pop Blossom. Peanut cannot do anything.
Can't get in there. Peter says no.
Like, everyone has to be in line, right? Like, everyone has to engage at the same time. Otherwise, it doesn't work very hard to stay on this dragon, but they do so much damage to it. Kaz really going to have to try and land their spine. Remember, there's a rend. As okay, Pop Blossom stolen by Zeka, doesn't do too much, but they get the Infernal Soul still. Look at this damage. B2D with the Buster Shot saves his own life as Peter trying to get in there. One with the Pop Blossom, but it's not quite enough. Still B2D free hitting over the wall. It's a double for Perfect, who goes golden, and now Zeus gonna be taken down. B2D with the triumph, stays alive. There's an ace, and I think KT may have just brought us to a game 3.
You're not sure, but you want to believe.
You're never sure with KT.
I think there's a pretty even higher statistical likelihood that KT wins the game from here.
There is a high chance that if this Nexus explodes, KT will have an opportunity to go to a game 3. That is likely happening, and in fact, it is. KT with their first win of 2025 for some reason, but instead
Orianna,
it's going to be Orianna.
I mean, that has some synergy, obviously, with the Misfortune. If you can get people to group up with your big shockwave, then it could potentially set up a combo that way.
And Doctom only level 5, so no bullet times over the wall or anything like that. So Kaz now moving in, gets stunned up, and my god, goes untargetable for now. Already, Delight taking a fair bit of damage, but Kaz is out of this fight as well. Peter, and they dive on top of Zeka. He's just completely left to the wolves, or to the dogs, or whatever they are. And now Perfect is moving forward. He's so strong, goes all out onto Peanut, but they're also targeting Delight as well. He's under 100, he knows that he's dead. As Zeus dives in, can he be the champion of HLE? And it looks like he may just be. B2D now just trying to kite him as best he can. It's not going to be enough, but Zeus now may have overextended. Perfect slows him down with a Q. Cuz wanting to get one, but he's obviously
kind of at an even state. Zeus is going to grab a plate. We're grouped up on these grubs again. Difficult to enter here against this Orianna. The ball was well placed. Teleport committed.
That's going to be 3. Chains of Corruption comes down, though, and in goes Delight straight into the back of the pit. That's going to be Peanut evening out the grub count, and over the wall goes Doctom. Now Perfect looking for his opportunity. This could be massive for this K'Sante, but Zeka takes his opportunity and just locks them down.
Does relinquish it, though.
Yeah, Kuz looking for a little bit of an engage opportunity. So is Peter, as the Glacial Prison goes wide. The Leona is going to go down, and now Peanut looking for more. Untargetable, though, is Kuz.
The lead, though, for Hanwha Life is getting bigger each and every moment, especially with that kill, just stacking it up. Now it's 1,000, and they have these big side lane threats.
Perfect missing some Qs, but otherwise playing this lane really well. Even though he is relatively low on health for this moment in time. 20 CS in the lead as the K'Sante.
Peter? Okay, that was scary.
Yeah. Okay, as I was singing his praises, it's possible that Perfect is dead. He goes all out. Let's see whether he can get out, and he does. Turret shot taken by Zeus, but that, unfortunately, the teleport a little bit slow. Shockwave comes in, and that's not a Nocturne. That's an
Looks
interference.
like maybe he was in danger, but he emits the recall, which means they can't actually punish the initial
perfect
play.
He's a bit frustrated about dying earlier and manages to nail the Q this time around. Doesn't have all out, so I think Zeker is going to survive because like this guy just does not do that much. Oh, never mind. Maybe he does do the damage. Perfect's like, I'm tanky. Looking for the Q. Does not quite get it, but man.
Perfect. If you flash for that, you get him.
Peter can kill him. He's managing to land the solar flare, and he's looking to tank this one up. One more turret shot is almost enough to kill him because, man, you lose Eclipse and Aftershock, and you're taking a big chunk, but calculated.
And Perfect doesn't keep his flash, as Peanut looks like he's just barely going to miss.
Oh my God, are they both going to get out? Well, no, Perfect is not. He does have all out now. As the smite comes in, but the flail is going to take him down once again. Perfect on the floor, but I think that was still really cool. He got Peter a kill, which is great. Turret does go down in the bottom lane and in the top lane here, as we can see. The feats of strength go over to HLE though, so now we're still battling for these objectives, and another one is going to be taken here by KT.
Yeah, Zeus is not 100% necessary.
No, it's not what it's about. As now BDD could be in a little bit of trouble. Delight maybe going a little further than he needs to. BDD finding two with the shockwave, now trying to get out, but the counter-strike should stop him. Permafrost comes in. Peanut just going to do a bit of a fadeaway on that one. And that is a kill onto the mid laner, but they do give up a lot of positional advantage around this map. Doctom pushing in mid, and you've got to push in the top lane as well. As now Perfect going to be moving on over. Piercing Arrow.
So real.
Yeah.
And KT, they're pushing a little bit with the Cassante, but it just doesn't hit the same. They will be able to grab this dragon, though, as Hanwha Life do relinquish control after that pick in the bottom.
And now it's Peter. Has a bit of a charge opportunity. Breaks open the turret. And that is going to put KT within touching distance of the gold. 2 minutes on this Drake as well. That is going to be soul point. Even though it's Chemtech, still going to be relevant.
Uh-oh.
As Audio Peanut getting hit by the Zenith Blade. Another shockwave connecting onto two because going down so low, he's going to need to go untargetable soon. And he just isn't going to be able to. That is going to be the Rise picking up the kill, and now Counter-Strike right on top of Doctom. Zeus, do they have the CC for him? That's the question. The answer is absolutely not. Peter gonna have to flash out of the way.
Which means he's geared to smite this. There's no KT around this Otacon. It's disaster after Delight is able to chase down with his ultimate as well. There was no getting out of there for KT. Power of that Rise push. Jack's pushing mid at the same time. They have to go over and deal with the Rise. They barely defend the turret, but it means it's a free dragon. Zeus wants more.
Oh dear. Doctom in a little bit of trouble here. Chains of Corruption go wide once again. Oh, it's a decent shield, but not quite enough. And Zeus, he doesn't even have to withdraw.
Technical withdrawal.
Yeah.
Doctom's
like, dead again.
I'm going to finish the job I started on this turret. You chase down one soul laner, the other one pops up. This turret's going down. It's just a great macro game here from HLE.
It's really difficult. You mentioned this already. Recently added a few extra ones on top of that at the same time. And now he's looking to fight BDD. Let's see whether Peter and Kaz are going to be enough to stop this Jax from destroying them. The Hanwha comes in. Delight now finds himself in front of 3 people. BDD going to get stabbed as the Pantheon is going to go down, but he's sacrificed.
But doing anything after that, when Zeus isn't showing, got to be scared.
Oh dear, Kaz down to half health immediately. Permafrost not going to be doing too much there as Doctom. Another Captain Jack, that's going to work out. Chains of Corruption again going wide. And Doctom actually some smooth footwork there as in goes Peter. I don't know about that, but still, they're going to force Zeus to use his Zhonya's one more time. Peanut going aggressive, but it's Peter that goes down. Zeus tries to dive in. This guy is immortal! As Perfect, he goes all out, and that should be able to get him. Never mind! He is actually impossible to kill as HLE are now underneath turrets. BDD had just respawned, it feels like, and is dead once again. That's an ace, and the first stand champs, I think, are looking to win their first series of the LCK 2025.
Man, what a game from Zeus on the Jax. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your greatest top laner of all time, and he's not done yet. He's got one more structure to kill, Atlas.
And it's a Leona. Oh, wait, no, the Nexus. That's what you were talking about. That is going to go down. And Zeus going to have a bit of a stretch here.